The truth is finally here.
Hi, I'm Marty Runick, the owner and trainer at Top Gun Paintless Dent Repair Training School. I'd like to go over some of the most common mistakes people make when looking for PDR training. The worst mistake most people make getting into this trade is not checking out how many techs are already in their area. In some countries, paintless dent repair may still be open to wholesale, hail, and retail markets, but in most major areas of the U.S., wholesale and hail markets are already saturated with techs. The only market that's left in most areas is retail. Now, there's lots of ways to tell if your area is saturated with techs. Many trainers tell you to do a search of the yellow pages to see how many PDR techs are in your area. This will tell you nothing because most wholesale or hail techs don't advertise, especially not in the yellow pages as there is no PDR section there. That's a typical example of how some training mills misdirect you. A good way to gauge the wholesale saturation in your area is to call a few car dealerships, body shops, or detailers and ask them if they need the services of a PDR tech. If they tell you that they have their pick of several, it's not a good sign. Also, doing a Google search for local dent companies can give you a fairly good idea of how crowded the retail market is. If your search shows a lot of techs offering mobile and same-day service, that's another bad sign. Now, if you can do large dent PDR repairs, you may do well even in a crowded market as long as it's not in a rural area. But keep in mind that you probably won't be ready for at least a year to be doing these large repairs. Another very common mistake many people make is basing their decision on where to train on how close the school is to them. Probably because they feel all PDR training is about the same. It is definitely not the same. If you don't believe this, please watch the first 5 videos in the Learning PDR series, where I give you lots of no-bull information on this subject. Good quality paintless dent repair training is a huge factor in a student's success. The decision on where to train should always be based on finding the best quality training and not the location of the school. Quality training can literally cut your learning curve in half or more and get you a return on your investment much quicker. Next most common mistake is trying to learn PDR by video. Learning PDR correctly from video just isn't possible because the video can't correct you when you're doing something wrong or developing bad habits. Of all the mistakes you can make in learning PDR, learning by video is about the best way to go backwards at warp speed. This is kind of a hot button for me because about 20% of my students try learning by video first. And so far, every one of them has had sometimes dozens of bad habits that I need to get them past. This only prolongs the learning curve because valuable training time has to be taken to get them to the point where they would have been had they not watched these videos in the first place. No matter how good the videos are, a student will develop bad habits and misconceptions from them because everyone learns so differently from everyone else. And there's just no way to correct these things through learning from a video. Just one quick example of what I'm talking about here. How can a video dial you into the right reflection for your eyes? This is the first thing I do with a student, and if this isn't done, it's like putting my glasses on the student and telling them to fix dents. If you're using the wrong reflection for you, you'll have a long and frustrating time learning because it's like seeing the world through someone else's glasses. To date, I have never had one student that tried to learn by video that wasn't using the wrong reflection for them. So if you're practicing from a video, please stop. You're only digging a hole for yourself, and the progress you think you're making is in the wrong direction. You may eventually get to the point where you can fix a small dent, but your quality and speed will never get there. Next frequent mistake is buying PDR tools before training. This almost never works out. There are many PDR tool companies now that make or import bad quality knockoff tools, and there's no way you'll know what you're really buying. You can't be expected to know what a good quality PDR tool is before you get trained. A good trainer will always guide you in the proper selection of your tool set. And the trainer should also teach you how to recognize the many differences between a good quality and poor quality PDR tool. Sadly, even some of the good PDR tool companies have sets that aren't useful in the real world. Some have professional sets with about 6 to 8 useful tools. No matter what you hear, there is no one tool company that makes every type of tool well. If you want a true quality set of tools, you should choose from the 5 or 6 tool manufacturers that make quality PDR tools. And you should only choose your tools from these quality manufacturers during your training, not before. Another mistake is, I have to get my training with a state-approved or certified school. Well, I'm a state-approved school, and it means nothing as far as my honesty or skill as a trainer. These state bureaus do not have the responsibility or resources for overseeing the quality of the education received by students. Some state-approved schools offer the poorest quality training available. As far as certification goes, there's no such thing as a certification by any state for PDR. Paintless dent repair is a completely unregulated trade. There are no established standards for teaching or performing it. Now, some paintless dent repair training schools will tell you that state approval is your guarantee of a quality education in PDR. This is not true. No state in the U.S. approves such a claim. If you don't believe this, call the state bureau that approves the PDR school and ask them. They'll tell you the same thing I'm telling you right now. You have to do your own research to determine if you're getting quality training from any school. When looking for PDR training, the best advice is let the buyer beware. It's your money. And if you're wondering how do you do your research, you'll want to watch videos 4 and 5 of the Truth About Learning PDR video series. Another mistake is, I can only afford 1 week of training, so I'll go to a school that offers that. There is no way you can learn this art in 1 week well enough to practice at home and then begin your career. If you think this is just my opinion, ask any working PDR tech if you can learn this art in 1 week. Some paintless dent repair schools will claim to have a method of training that enables you to do just that. They know most people are not willing to take 2 weeks or longer to train properly, so they tell you what you want to hear. Many will even guarantee that you'll repair a real-world dent in 1 week. Well, this so-called real-world dent will be a very small and soft dent that is easily done, but is rarely seen in the real world of PDR. You need to learn the basics of PDR well enough so that you can effectively practice at home, and 2 weeks of training is the minimal time to assure you of a solid start. Any competent paintless dent repair tech will tell you that PDR is one of the toughest skills to learn. It requires dedication, patience, and time to master. Next mistake. Well, I'm going to get my PDR training for free from a franchise dent company. There is no free lunch. Many people see these ads and think this may be a great way to get the training they need for free. Problem is, most franchises control a large part of your life from the moment you sign up. The paintless dent repair training at many of these franchises is often geared towards wholesale speed and production rather than quality. Most all of these techs are on commission and must meet their quota above all else. If these techs decide to just slow down and take it easy, they'll quickly be demoted to smaller car lots that are harder to make a living at. And if they decide to quit and do PDR somewhere else, the franchise company will pursue them in court and make them pay back the money they owe for their training and many other expenses, including all legal expenses. Now, this happens even if the tech moves out of state. In addition, the percentages actually paid to the techs are small and in most cases change at the whim of the company. If you decide to go this route for your PDR training, make sure you have a lawyer look over the entire contract they want you to sign, especially the small print. You may be surprised at how much control of your life and finances you'll have to sign away. There are many techs that are now stuck in a franchise making much less money than they could on their own. Unfortunately, they can't get out because of the legal problems involved. The best advice to give anyone about training for free with these companies is to talk to a working tech from other companies other than the franchise and ask questions. If you talk with a tech the franchise company gives you to talk to, well, these techs usually get a bonus for signing unsuspecting techs up with a company. Do you think you're going to get an honest opinion from them? Also, have a contract lawyer, not just a lawyer, look over all contracts. Next mistake, picking a paintless dent repair training school by finding a good-looking website or videos instead of doing your research. As we've talked about in other videos, most schools count on you making a snap decision based on emotion only. These schools know that no one likes spending time looking and researching for any services, and their websites and videos are made to appeal to your feelings, not your intelligence. You can tell this by how the site or video is getting your emotions stirred up and involved in identifying with the speaker. It's simply a marketing trick to get you to use your heart instead of your brain to pick any service. The truth is, if you don't use your brain to do your research to pick a quality paintless dent repair training school, you're almost certainly going to get screwed. I can't put it any simpler than that. Every good PDR tech laughs at these websites and videos because they know what these people are telling you is a load of BS. So it's up to you. Are you going to do your research from unbiased sources or not? Well, there are many, many more mistakes you can make that we could talk about, but hopefully you're starting to get the idea that you better not jump into this before you do your research. And by the way, if you've watched this video first and haven't watched the series we've done on the truth about PDR training schools, I'd really recommend you watch these videos also, as we go more in depth into the mistakes most people make getting into this trade and how to avoid them. Well, thanks for watching this video from Top Gun PDR Training, and if this information helped you, please like us and subscribe to our channels. We'll be adding videos on a regular basis that you won't be able to see anywhere else. Hope to see you in another video.